No one knew when she chose him, but from the first day, the house felt different. Soft morning light filled the small room where a newborn baby slept in his crib. A calm gray cat sat nearby, watching him with slow, blinking eyes. She had always been an independent cat, quiet and distant, content in her own world. But the moment she heard his first cry, something inside her changed. The baby moved gently, waving his tiny hands in the air, a silent dance in his sleep. The cat approached the crib slowly, almost hesitantly, sniffing the air around him. She wasn't just curious, she was captivated. The baby made a small sound, a soft coo that broke the silence. The cat stretched out a single paw, placing it gently on the floor, and sat closer, her gaze fixed on the small human. It was as if she was answering a call only she could hear. Days turned into weeks, and a new routine quietly formed. The cat began sleeping under the crib, refusing to leave his side for more than a few minutes. She created her own rituals, her own ways of communicating with him. She would wait patiently for him to wake up each morning. The moment his eyes fluttered open, she would walk slow, deliberate circles around the crib, her tail held high. Her soft, rhythmic purring filled the room, a constant hum of comfort, until the baby rewarded her with a tiny, gummy smile. His mother would often watch them, a soft laugh escaping her lips, amazed at this unexpected bond. As the baby grew stronger, he learned to lift his head and follow movement with his bright, curious eyes. His favorite thing to watch? The gray cat. He would giggle with pure delight whenever she appeared, his little body wiggling with excitement. Slow, gentle movements became their language. The cat would rub her head against the wooden legs of the crib, a subtle gesture of affection that he seemed to understand perfectly. Every little sound he made, every babble and sigh, she answered with a purr. Every little laugh she turned into a shared moment of comfort and joy, her presence a steady, reassuring anchor in his brand-new world. Then came the day he touched her fur for the first time. It wasn't a dramatic moment. There was no danger, no heroic act, just a simple, quiet connection. His mother had placed him on a soft blanket near the crib, and the cat had immediately settled beside him. His tiny, uncoordinated fingers reached out, exploring this new, soft texture. They curled around her gray hair, a gentle, clumsy grasp. For a split second, the cat froze, her body tensing. Then, as if understanding the innocence of the touch, she relaxed completely and leaned closer, accepting his touch, inviting more. It was a silent agreement, a bond sealed not with words, but with pure and gentle trust. She became his shadow. Wherever he was, she was there. When he learned to roll, turning himself over with a triumphant grunt, the cat would simply adjust her position, making sure she was still within his line of sight. When his mother placed him on a soft play mat on the floor, the cat would curl up right next to him, her long tail gently touching his leg. She wasn't guarding him, not in the way a dog might. She wasn't protecting him from any visible threat. She was just being with him, her constant, quiet presence a source of unspoken comfort. Her world, once vast and solitary, had shrunk to the size of this tiny human, and she seemed perfectly content. Their interactions were a series of small moments, each one holding a world of meaning. The baby, growing bolder, would sometimes gently grab her whiskers. Another cat might have swatted him away, but she didn't even flinch. She just sat there, patient and still. When he laughed, his whole body shaking with glee, her purr would grow louder, a rumbling motor of contentment. And on the rare occasions he cried, she would walk over and rub her head against his chest, a furry, warm comfort that often worked better than any toy. Maybe she remembered her own kittens from a time long past. Maybe she just loved the warmth of his presence. But watching them, it was clear this was more than instinct. It was affection, pure and simple. The rest of the family started to notice the depth of their connection. His father would often remark, "He calms down so much faster when she's here." His mother would shake her head in wonder, saying, "I've never ever seen her like this with anyone before." The cat, once just the family pet, had found a new purpose. She was no longer just the family's cat. She was his companion, his furry confidant, his silent friend. Family members would pull out their phones, capturing photos of the unlikely pair, trying to preserve the magic of their unique friendship. They grew in quiet harmony. A time lapse would show the baby learning to roll with ease, then push himself up, then sit with support. And through every milestone, the gray cat was always right there beside him. One was learning about the world, exploring its shapes, sounds, and textures. The other was giving silent, unconditional love, asking for nothing in return. In a tender moment, the baby reached out and softly touched the cat's ear. She didn't pull away. Instead, she closed her eyes and leaned into his touch, a picture of perfect trust and serenity. Not every love story begins with a dramatic rescue or a life-or-death situation. Some of the most profound stories begin much more quietly, with a steady heartbeat and a gentle purr. This was not a story of saving a life, but of filling it with a quiet, constant warmth. It was a testament to the fact that love doesn't always need to be loud to be powerful. As the baby finally drifted off to sleep, his small hand resting on the cat's soft fur, it was clear that their bond was something special, something to be cherished. Sometimes the purest love is the quietest. It doesn't need grand declarations or dramatic gestures. It exists in the shared silences, the gentle touches, and the simple act of being there for one another. It's a love that asks for nothing and gives everything, a silent promise whispered between two souls who found each other in the quiet corners of the day. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.